Hey there, Doug here from Weekend Warrior Michigan Fishing. One thing that I like to do at the end of every fishing season is go through all my data and kind of consolidate and see which lures worked best and which ones didn't. So that's what we're doing here today. I'm going to go through my top performers and my bottom performers of the year for 2025. So we'll start with the good ones. One of them that did fantastic this year was Flounder Pounder in the Magnum size. That one, anytime in low light conditions, it would be out there for me, and it was always catching fish. So early in the morning, first thing, put it out. If you're doing an evening fish, put it out when the sun is getting low. I love it in the low light conditions. I don't love it when the sun is up. So there's a time for it, and there's a time for it to not be out. But if you're fishing in low light, put it out there. The next one that did really well for me, both in low light and in normal conditions here, this is a Magnum size Shelly Snack. Got a lot of hits on that. Love that lure. Shelly Snack, this one is in the RV tape on that. Did quite well. I like that one. And the third spoon that I really liked is this one. This is it's a watermelon pattern. I think it's, what do we have here? Yeah, it's a silver streak lure. I think it's called Ludington Glow. Looks like a watermelon though. I really like that one. It was kind of a new lure for me this year. When I find a lure that does well during the day and in low light, so it's easy to catch fish in low light, but if you can find one that does well during the day, when the fish are a little bit more picky, that is a special lure, and that's exactly what this one is. I really like that lure. All right, so those are my three top spoons for the year. Love them. They did great for me. But the best thing for me is what I had out on my downriggers. And this, if you've been watching my channel, you should know this. It should come as no surprise. I got a 11-inch paddle here with a 44-inch lead, and that fly is just beat up. You can tell it's only got 3 beads on it because I had to retie it once and I lost a bead. I think it's a Mirage Green, and it's at that point where I might want to think about replacing it, but when you have a fly that works, you really hate to mess with it. So this has lived on a downrigger for me for most of the year. And this 5-inch watermelon plug has lived on my other downrigger. And I'm presenting these two together because I think these two work together so well. I will consistently drop my paddle and fly about 10 to 15 feet below the thermocline and put this right about at the thermocline. And boy, I've caught a remarkable number of fish on this. And it's not just late in the fall. I know most people will be running these in the fall. I went back and checked my notes. I put this out on June 13. That was the earliest time I put it out. And it took hits as early as June 13. And it continued to take hits. I kept putting it out the rest of the year. So these two together, I think there's some sort of a synergy. They work together quite well. They live on my downriggers, and they will continue to live on my downriggers in the future. Those are my lures of 2025 that I love. And now here are a few that kind of annoyed me because, they caught some fish, but not as many fish as they should have given the amount of time that they were out. So my 3 lures of 2025 that kind of underperformed are the following. All right, my first underperformer of 2025 would be this one, RV Green Jeans. And it's really disappointing for me to say that because you can tell it's got lots of scratches on it. It historically has been a very good lure, but I put it out so much this past year and I didn't catch a single fish on it, not a single one. Took a few bites, but I didn't wind any fish. Very disappointing. I will continue throwing it out because I've built up a lot of trust with it over the years. but it just did terrible this past year, terrible. I'm not quite sure why. It might be because of where the thermocline was. This past year, generally speaking, the thermocline was lower than it has been in the past. Where I fish, at least, it's been mostly down 70, 80 foot, and I suspect these green colors are not ideal for that deeper of a depth. All right, the next one that kind of disappointed me for this year, and this one actually disappointed me for 2025, and it's been a continual disappointment for me, is this. I know there are a lot of people who use these in other parts of the Great Lakes, and they're supposedly, you know, coho killers. It's this simple red flasher with a peanut fly, and I tried and I tried and I tried to catch coho with that, and I just couldn't do it. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, entirely possible, or if the fish in my area don't like it. I don't know. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. It's starting to get frustrating for me though, because I've tried this for a few years, mostly in the spring. I think that's when you're supposed to be doing it. Mostly in the spring, looking for coho. Hasn't really worked for me. Not happy with that particular setup. All right, and my last underperformer of 2025 would be that one lure. I know it's an entire size, all these super slims. That smaller size, the super slim size, really disappointing for me this year. They underperformed as a whole, and honestly, I think that's just because we're supposed to match the hatch, right? These size lures were not apparently the size bait, the size alewife that was out there this year. And that said, I'm not getting rid of them because I've had years where they've done fantastic. This just wasn't the year for them. Must be something to do with the alewife size or the alewife population. I started out early with them and I caught a few, not many. I switched over pretty early though. By, I don't know, mid-May, I was noticing in the bellies of most of the fish that the fish they were feeding on were bigger than that. So I switched over to almost exclusively Magnum and standard size around mid-May, and I continued with the large size again because I kept checking the bellies, and they were big size fish they were feeding on. So this year 2025, all these super slims, for the most part they stayed in the box. When I did put them out, I wasn't all that thrilled with them. So that's it for me. Those are my overachievers and underachievers of 2025. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite spoons were for the past year, or your least favorite. I want to hear it. Thanks. Bye.